Before I take questions, I want to say congrats to Sacramento, to Mike and his staff and his team. They were incredible. Had an amazing season, and this was a fantastic series. I mean, just great basketball for 7 games. They've had, frankly, a much better season than we have. We've been kind of up and down all year, as you know, and they put together a whole season where they just became a contender. And the young talent, the coaching, it was impressive to watch and really difficult to play against. So congrats to the Kings. We are thrilled to move on, and there's a lot to discuss. I think the first two things that come to mind are Steph Curry having 50 points in a Game 7, never been done before, incredible, and Kevon Looney just keeps doing it every game. 21 boards tonight, 10 offensive. I thought he controlled much of the game with his offensive boards. I think Loon is one of the best centers in the league. I really do. And people don't recognize it because he's not dunking and shooting threes and all that stuff. But this guy is a flat-out winner, and he's a machine. And we wouldn't be here without him. So with that, I'll take questions.
Steve, were you drawing up stuff to get get Steph the ball, to Steph open, to get Steph shots, or was that just Steph finding it?
So the biggest factor offensively tonight was our spacing. And in Game 6, our spacing was a disaster. And the whole focus yesterday was looking at film, seeing why there was nowhere to go. And we were just cluttered. So I thought today we spread the floor really well. The guys were really disciplined, and that gave Steph more room, but he's the one who went out and made the plays. So we just were smart. 7 turnovers for the game, 25 assists. We just made simple plays over and over again. And we talk about it all the time. We usually don't do it, but today we did it. And that's what we had to do to win this series.
Steve, a lot of people talk about championship DNA, and sometimes that talk kind of elicits rolls of the eyes and, like, oh, is there really such a thing? Did we just see that?
No doubt, no doubt. Game 7, Game 7s are difficult. You saw how many free throws were missed, by both teams. These guys are all human, and everybody's nervous, and so there's a need to have experience in Game 7s, and our guys have that, our core guys. And I think what it takes is just taking the game possession by possession, which our guys did beautifully tonight. Not thinking about the outcome, just thinking about the process and repeating and repeating and repeating and breathing during the timeouts and staying locked in and staying focused. And our guys did that. But they've learned to do that through a decade of, these type of games. So the most impressive thing to me with Steph, Klay, Draymond, Loon, Andre, to do this for a decade, it's incredible. The energy that it takes to fight off challengers year after year and to have to prepare and win big games and doing it over and over again. It's a reason these guys are Hall of Famers and champions. This is not a 1-year flash in the pan. This is a decade that they've done it, and it's incredible to watch.
Steve, a couple times you were caught on TV talking to Steph on the sidelines. Can you tell us a little bit about what you were saying to him? And also, you've seen him a lot, so does he ever surprise you, what he does?
He doesn't surprise me. We all take him for granted because he's brilliant night after night, and we've been watching this for 10 years. And we just, you just have to remind yourself every once in a while, big picture. This is one of the great players in the history of the game. But that's how I felt, back in my playing days, with Michael Jordan. You'd see it night after night, so you just took it for granted. So that's how it is with Steph. You just it's over and over and over again. And the resilience and the work that goes into that and the focus, it's incredible to watch. I guess we were just taking a lot of timeouts. You asked about what our discussions were. It was just about getting rest. And we took a few timeouts during the game just to get him a chance to breathe and our other guys. All I remember saying to him and the group was just, focus on the next possession and don't worry about results. Just keep, doing all the things we've talked about all series long. Rebounding, taking care of the ball, possession after possession. And if tonight was the best game plan discipline that we've had all year for sure, and one of the great games that I can remember since I've been here in terms of being that locked in for 48 minutes, and that's what it took.
Tony Harvey, NBC Sports Radio. Coach Kerr, the other night, that 11:30 regular season on the road record, that's just a minimum. You done won the last 2 straight in this building on the road. Did it kind of like justify, what you meant the other night when you won here, that this is what your team looked like, when they're all together and they're all healthy?
Yeah, but the other night, that's what our team looks like sometimes too, in Game 6. And it's not easy to do this, to have a performance like this. You can't do that every night. So there are going to be letdowns. And the other night, we played poorly, and Sacramento was great, and that's why we had to come in here and do what we just did today. But that's what the playoffs are about. You have to be able to bounce back and respond and win on the road, and our guys have been doing that for a long time.
Coach, over here, you said pregame you were going to have some adjustments that you weren't going to share with us. Can you elucidate those a little bit now and the thought process behind some of those?
Not really, because we play the Lakers in 48 hours, and I don't really want to say anything. I think the one thing I'll mention is just what I said before. Our spacing was just dramatically better tonight, and because we were so bunched together the other night, we just couldn't execute, and we turned it over. And so, given that the spacing was better, we were able to execute offensively, and that I thought our offense really helped our defense tonight. But we gave up 5 points off 7 turnovers. The other night it was like 19 turnovers for 23, 24 points. That's the game right there. And along with the rebounding, we had 18 offensive boards. So, this has been a possession series. Whichever team has controlled possessions has generally won. So I thought that was the key tonight.
To ask you, but you mentioned it right there at the Lakers Tuesday night. Early thoughts on the series and the fact that it is coming so quickly. There's, I think, only one day off between every game.
Well, we're excited just to have the opportunity. I think the Lakers changed their team dramatically at the trade deadline. They made some brilliant moves and became an entirely different team. And Darvin has done an incredible job guiding that team. They're excellent defensively. We know they've got, one of the all-time greats in LeBron, but a lot of talent across the roster. So it's going to take a big effort to beat them. We know how good they are.
Coach here, Ruth for Hispanic Sports Media. This team has prevailed through a lot of adversity this series. How proud are you of your guys and the resilience that they showed this series?
Yeah, incredibly proud. And I think resilience shows in a lot of different ways. People aren't going to talk about Klay because he shot 4 for 19 today, but his defense was amazing. And I don't know, to be able to play that kind of defense in the midst of a bad shooting night, that's not easy to do. But Klay is such a gamer, such a competitor. I'm as proud of him as anybody. We're going to talk about Steph and Loon because of their brilliant individual performances, but how you play when things aren't going your way really defines you as a player. And I think tonight, Klay was he showed why he's such a great two-way player and why he's a champion. 4 for 19, and he's a plus 30, highest plus minus on the team. His defense was incredible.
Coach Kerr, Kings Digital right here. First of all, congratulations on advancing to the next round. I know you already touched about this at the beginning, but wanted to hear your thoughts on the Kings team and what is the future looking like for this young group of guys moving forward?
Yeah, well, they have a really fun team, a beautiful offense. They did a great job of putting a system in place that maximized their talent, and it was beautiful to watch them play this year. And they got a lot of young guys and great coach, and they've made really good decisions organizationally. So they have a very bright future, and we have a lot of respect for them.
Steve, as you know, in the home road splits this year, your defense was the biggest sort of factor. Right?
Yeah.
The points given up, the percentages. You only allowed 42 points tonight in the second half.
Yeah.
I don't think they scored in the first 4
Right.
minutes of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
How much of that was just the urgency and desperation of Game 7? How much is it something Draymond was doing? How much, you mentioned Klay. What sort of sparked that?
Well, you can eliminate the 41 road games we played in the regular season because we're a different team now. We're whole. We have Gary Payton back on the roster. We have Wiggins back in the mix. And we've talked about this, but this group has been together for 10 years, so it's not easy to get up for game after game after game. So we had a lot of struggles this year for a lot of reasons, but we're whole now, and this is an excellent defensive team, and it's an excellent road team. So forget all the other stuff that happened earlier.
Steve, back here. Chris Biederman, Sacramento Beat. Kings fans take a lot of pride. Kings fans take a lot of pride in creating one of the most hostile environments in the NBA. Just what's it say about Steph to have that performance in that environment? And what's it kind of take from a star of his caliber to do it against?
I think Steph thrives, and Draymond, Klay. I think those guys thrive in tough environments, and there's no better feeling in the NBA than getting a win on the road in the playoffs. It's the ultimate, and these guys. Once we got over the disappointment of losing Game 6, I think the focus shifted towards the opportunity, and this is what these guys do. And again, for Steph to be the first player ever to get 50 in a Game 7, he's sublime.
Hi, Steve. Just a quick question about your history with LeBron. I know he's on a different team now than when you used to face him with the Cavaliers, but does any of that history that you've had with him personally factor into how you approach this series and what the sort of institutional knowledge, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, we've played each other so many times over the years in the playoffs. One of the first things I learned about LeBron the first time we played them in the finals, just how smart he was. Like coming out of timeouts, he knew what we were doing. And so you take that into account. You have to recognize, just what a brilliant mind he has, and not just the physical talent. And he knows our team, although I think this team is very different than the teams back then. 15 through 18 when we played each other in the finals. But we do have some of the same tendencies, and he'll recognize some of those things. But we're not quite the same team, and we're doing some different things. But we know how good he is and how smart he is.
Steve, you talked about the spacing and how it helped you guys a little bit tonight. Steph had obviously took a lot of slack because Klay and Wiggs weren't shooting the ball very well. But how did he navigate that space so much better than they did in terms of just making it an efficient night for him while they struggled?
He's just Steph Curry. I mean, he's that good. I also think, his approach to these games is he's going to go down swinging. He took 18 threes, so biggest number is the one turnover. So because he had space, he was able to attack and be really aggressive. Thank you.
What's up, guys?
Domas, James Ham, ESPN 1320. This season has been more about the journey than it is anything else, about setting a wayward franchise back up. Do you guys think that even though this is a tough day, that you guys have accomplished a lot of what you guys set out to do this year?
Yeah, for sure. I'm proud of this team, every one of us, coaching staff, organization, everyone for what we did. But obviously it stings today because we did put ourselves in position where we could have kept kept moving and moving forward in the playoffs. So we just got to use this as motivation. To keep building.
Domas, how did you feel about your guys' effort tonight, and what did you feel like you could have done better when it came to those offensive rebounds, specifically in the third quarter?
I feel like we fought all game, but they came out in the third quarter, and we're just more aggressive. They were shooting threes, long rebounds. They were grabbing all of them, all those 50-50 balls, and that gave them a ton of more possessions, and a team like that, that's tough.
Domas, you've seen a lot of, classic Steph Curry moments, and to be a part of the receiving end of that. What did you see? Just one of those special moments from him tonight.
He's one of the best. So to come out here in Game 7 and do that, we just had to go out there and do our best and slow him down and put ourselves in position to win.
Domas, you talked about back here underneath the camera. You talked about how this stings, but can you just elaborate how much does it hurt to see this magical run of a year come to an end?
Yeah, because we just had a lot of fun this whole year, with the city, the fans, everyone, the arena. And, especially at home, we definitely had a chance here to do something special, and to not get it done, stings right now.
Domas, Mario Cannon, Sacramento Observer. As you go into the all season, what is it that you're going to work on your game to come back better for next year?
There's probably a lot. We got to look at film, and study with the coaches and everything, but just everything in general, I feel like every year you got to put in the extra work to come back better and help this team, So, it's everybody, but we're definitely going to be looking at them.
So what does it say about this group that you were able to take the defending champs to through a 7-game series like you just did?
Proud of these guys, come out. We all came out, locked in with their heads straight. It took them to Game 7. Obviously, it's not the outcome we wanted, but just to stay focused that way, they're a tough team to play. They play a different type of basketball, and we matched up well. We just didn't have enough to get it done.
Domas, Mark Haynes, the Sacramento Observer. 7-game series is a long series. Do you guys think some of you guys may have ran out of gas a little bit?
No, I don't think so. With a game like this in our building with our fans, that energy comes. We just that third quarter, they're a third quarter team, and we let them get the best of us today in that quarter.
Domas, just 2 fast break points for you guys tonight. Did you guys let them dictate the pace too much?
I don't even know. Every time they scored, we try to take it out quick, or when we got stops, we try to go and convert. Every game's different, so I don't even know what happened wrong.
Domas, Jason Jones, The Athletic. What made Looney so difficult for you guys to contain on the glass in this series? You can get 3 20-rebound games, and you're normally a guy who gets a lot of rebounds like that, but it just seemed like Looney was just real physical with you guys out there.
Yeah, he knows how to place himself in the right positions. He's a big body. They get up a ton of shots, ton of threes, so they're not the usual under the rim rebounds. They're kind of out. So that's been kind of an issue with us all year. And getting those longer rebounds. So that definitely affected the series.
For you guys to have this taste in your mouth going in the offseason, knowing that you've accomplished a lot this season, does this kind of feel like a major step forward for what you guys hope to accomplish in the future?
Yeah, of course. We accomplished a lot. This is just the first step. Moving forward, there's a lot more to come. And we got to use that as motivation, especially what everyone's feeling right now. In the summer to get better and really come out next season strong. Thanks, guys.
Wow.
Hi, Klay.
Hello.
Okay. Steve just credited you for your defense all afternoon and just sticking with it when your shot was maybe not what you wanted it to be until it started falling down the stretch. How much energy does that take to just keep sticking with it?
I've been in this league long enough to know that if you don't have a great shooting night, you can do other things to impact the game. And I pride myself on being a basketball player and can always control your attitude and effort. And although I was 4 for 19, which is disgusting, a plus 30, I'll take that. That's better than last game, minus 28. So I was thinking about that and just being able to space the floor and take great looks. And, they'll go in hopefully game 1 of the semis.
Clay, you guys allowed only 42 points in the second half. I think none in the first 3 or 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. What sort of triggered that? Because, I mean, as you know, you guys weren't great defensively on the road this year. Steve made the point that you're just different now with Wiggins back, Peyton obviously in the mix. But what in your mind sort of elevated your defense when it mattered most?
I think just attention to detail. I think we all limited them on the glass, spaced the floor really well. Didn't let them get out in transition like they have been previous games. And I got to give Kevon so much credit. I mean, his third 20-rebound-plus game of the series, and that just stifles a team when they can't get second-chance opportunities like they did previously. And just a group effort, but shout out to Steph. I mean, what an incredible all-time performance to go for 50 in a Game 7. That's it's just a joy to share the backcourt with him, and he never ceases to amaze me.
Hey, Clay. After winning games 5 and 7 here, how good does it feel to put to rest that this team can't win on the road?
Well, maybe this year was tough, but we've got guys who've been winning on the road for a decade now, and I mean, you can't buy into the narratives from the media because you got to really dig deep and believe you're capable of anything. And whether it's a 1-road win or 2 road wins, usually when you want to win a championship, you got to get one on the road or 2 at least. And for us, it was really about just relying on our experience and just being ready to match their physicality.
As someone who yourself has had just incredible shooting performances, high scoring nights, but has also played with Steph for over a decade, what is it like being next to him when he's in his zone, especially as someone who probably is familiar with that feeling?
Oh, wow. Thank you. That's the best. I mean, especially when you have an off night yourself or the team, no one really shot it particularly well except for Steph. And there's a reason he's a 2-time MVP, a Finals MVP, is because he pushes us over the top in moments like this. And when he's in the zone like that, you try to just get him in his spots, get him the ball, get out the way. And gosh, what an incredible performance. This is a Game 7 I'll forever remember as the Steph Curry game, and he's just a joy to watch and play with. I mean, I really, truly enjoyed just, like I said, sharing the backcourt with him.
Hey, Clay, before this game, there was a lot of talk about championship DNA, and some people don't think that's a real thing or they scoff at that term. Did we just see that in action?
Yeah, I mean, 50 points from our best player, holding them to 38% from the field, 26 from 3. It sounds like championship DNA to me. And when you do it, 4 times, I would never doubt a champion, especially who's been there and done it routinely.
What kind of changed for you guys after halftime? You were down by 2, and then just really had an inspiring third quarter rebounding wise and also scoring.
Steph got hot. We got a lot of good looks at the rim. We were getting to the free throw line consistently, and we limited their second chance opportunities. And although we were missing free throws, just the fact that we were being physical and getting to the line, it's demoralizing for a defense. And I think that ability just really spread them out afterwards.
I know you obviously haven't dug into the film, but Lakers quick turnaround Tuesday. Just early thoughts on that matchup overall and facing LeBron in another playoff series.
That's special. I mean, played LeBron in the finals 4 times. Obviously one of the greatest to ever play, and Anthony Davis is, right there as well. Played AD in the playoffs too, and they have. Watching that last series against Memphis, it looks like they're gelling and their guys know their roles, the other guys besides those 2, and it's going to be a huge challenge for us, but we're all excited to play the Lakers. I mean, it's a legendary franchise, and Warriors-Lakers, it's been a long time since they've seen each other in the playoffs, and I know I'm personally excited. I get to play in front of my father, my mother, some of my best friends, and go down to SoCal after our homestand, and it's just a dream come true. I've waited for this for 12 years.
Clay, you've mentioned it, Coach Kerr mentioned it. You guys have been doing this for a decade. And at the top of the game, what motivates you to keep going at the level that you keep going in?
You just want to look back on your career with no regrets. You want to look back and say you gave everything you had, and we just know how elusive it is to be in this position. And the Warriors were in somewhat of a drought before we got here. 40 years Oakland hadn't seen a championship, so to have another chance at one, it's special. I mean, when you can be a part of a dynasty and continue that run as long as you can, you will do everything in your willpower to help the team. And I know we all will continue to do that, and it's just a special opportunity right now for us to continue to try and win these hard playoff series.
Klay, what stands out to you just from coming here this series about the atmosphere inside this building in particular, and what's it say about Steph to have that performance in a Game 7 in that atmosphere that a lot of people think is one of the loudest in the league?
I mean, Sacramento fans are great. Obviously don't like the obscenities they said to Draymond, but other than that, they were behind their team for 7 games, and especially those first 2 games, it was incredibly loud in here, and for Steph to do what he did tonight just shows what he's made of. I mean, he has nothing to prove anymore, but he continues to just take his game to another level, and we all will continue to follow him. And then on top of that, I just got to give Mike Brown and their coaching staff and their players a ton of credit. They pushed us to the brink. Mike B's got those guys playing incredible ball on both sides of the floor, and I know they have a bright future here. Their star players are very young, so I just know the Kings franchise in good hands with Mike Brown at the helm.
Klay, to that point, this is your 28th playoff series.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, of course, the Kings franchise has not been. So for you guys, is this a memorable series when you talk about quality of play, opponent?
Absolutely. It's the first time I think we faced each other in the history of the game. So it doesn't matter if it's the first round. They were the 3 seed, we're the 6 seed. It was a tough battle. And, I'll remember this one for a long time. Travel was nice, just having to go 80 minutes up the freeway. And it's cool to see another great fan base just up the freeway. You kind of take that for granted sometimes that there's 2 fan bases, fighting for Northern California dominance. So it feels good to be on top this time around.
Before you bounce, who's Pops rooting for?
I don't know. I really don't know. If I had to guess, probably his employer. But I'm just excited I have so many great memories with him. Watching the Lakers, watching Kobe, watching Shaq and Pau and the rest of the gang. So I'm just really excited to stick it to the team or at least try to stick to the team that, I grew up rooting for.
Great, thank you. A few more guys in here for. Hi, Ruth for Hispanic Sports Media. Coming into Game 7, again, an away game. You guys haven't had the best record in the series with away games. What was the switch in your mentality to come to Game 7 and be able to win it tonight?
We knew it was going to take a lot of focus, a lot of effort. They got a great team over there. They're real coach. They beat us up in Game 6, so we knew we had to play with more aggression and be more locked in. And I think we did that. We haven't been great on the road this year, but we showed that when in must-win situations we can go out there and get the job done. And so for me, I just wanted to go out there and be more physical, play with more energy, and make sure I execute the game plan.
Kevon, the margin on the glass has been so important all season long.
Yeah.
I mean, how does that not affect, but just impact your mentality heading into these games, especially in the third quarter? That's when you really kind of erupted on the boards.
Definitely. Whenever we are able to, keep the possession battle close or win the possession battle, we're really tough to beat. We have some of the best scorers in the game. So whenever we play, do well in that area, we usually win. And all the games that we lost this series, we lost the possession battle pretty handily. So for me, I just wanted to make sure get us extra possessions, set the tone with rebounding and physicality. And I think I did a good job of that, especially in the third. I wanted to get us some extra possessions and when it's usually when I get an extra possession, Steph usually end up with a 3, so it's always good for our team.
Hey, Kevon, playing with Steph and Klay, you're used to seeing them
make threes and the crowd kind of groans and they know something's coming.
Yeah.
Could you tell tonight in the third quarter when you were getting those offensive rebounds, the crowd was reacting. They were moaning, they were groaning. Can you feel that on the court, how you're kind of shifting momentum with your rebounding?
Definitely. No, that's that what makes it fun. You're doing all the hard work, pushing and shoving, and getting hit with elbows and different things like that. Just all for that moment to be able to get extra possession for your team and see them make a shot and change the momentum. And it's a great feeling, and I know it helps us win. So I live for those moments. I like doing it, and it's a lot of fun for me.
Hey, Kevon, another 20-plus rebound game. Coach Kerr just called you one of the best center of the league. So how do you think of that? And then how do you think you can continue to contribute?
That's a great compliment. I play to win, and my role is a certain play a certain way here. Rebound, set screens, do all the small things, and defend. So I try to just be the best in my role, and hopefully when I'm doing that, help our team win. And so that's a great compliment. I try to keep performing, keep doing my job, and hopefully we keep winning.
Kevon, Steph's 50 points are the most ever scored in a Game 7. I know you've been on the court for a lot of his big performances, and we ask you guys this after every one of them, but what is it just like to see him go off like that and kind of take over the game and will you guys to a needed win?
It's incredible to see him do something special like he did tonight or this morning, whatever you want to call it. You think you've seen it all from him. You think you can't do no better. I've seen him do what he did in Game 4 of the finals and different things like that. To see him, in a Game 7 put up 50 points is incredible to watch and be part of. And you could tell from the start of the game that he wasn't gonna let us lose this game. And I think we all followed his lead, and he took us home.
When you said you could tell from the start that he wasn't going to let you guys win, what specifically tipped you off to that?
Just his aggression he came out with, the poise he played with, the pace he played with. You can tell that he was locked in all the way. He had no turnovers early. He was making all the right play calls. He was making all the right passes in the pocket. And every time that they made a shot or started a little run, he'll get aggressive and go score. And when he's locked in like that, he's special.
Thanks. What was the difference in halves? Was there a specific message? We've talked about it here. Was there anything in terms of just the strategic part of it, or was it just a matter of keeping to the game plan in the second half?
I think it was just keeping to the game plan. We didn't really need no motivational speech at halftime or anything like that. We felt like we got great looks in the first half, and it was just a matter of time if we kept rebounding, we kept defending at a high level like we were. We knew that shots were going to fall, and Steph got it going. Klay hit some shots, and we was able to get some extra possessions, and so that's all it was. We knew if we stuck to the game plan, we'd be able to win.
Kevon, Gary said in the locker room just now that you guys got punked in Game 6, and you took it personally and sort of led the response, especially on defense. How much did you take that personally, and how much, as much as Draymond gets the attention, how much do you feel like the leader of the defense?
Definitely took it personally. Like I said, the key to every game has been rebounding and turnovers for us. And for me to be I feel like I'm a great rebounder, so I got to be able to control the glass, control the paint, and be an anchor for the defense. I've been learning from Draymond my whole career, so I feel like I am one of the leaders of the defense. And we bounce off of each other. We depend on each other down there. So, games like Game 6 are unacceptable for us, and we knew that as a team, and that's why we came out today. I wanted to set the tone from the beginning of getting that rebound and being physical.
Kevon, how good did it feel just to shut down such a high prolific offense that the Kings have and basically take away their superstars in that second half?
It felt good. They've been a great offense, a great team all year. Mike Brown got them. He's got them well coached. Sabonis and Fox and Monk been tough to guard all series, and they've been causing us a lot of problems. So for us to be able to get stops when we needed to, be able to slow them down, it shows how good our defense can be. All credit to them. Their offense is what it was hyped up to be. They scored a lot of points. They play really fast, and usually in the playoffs, teams don't score in 120s. They was getting that every game, so they were really tough to stop. But today we was able to get stops when we needed to.
Talk about Coach Brown and how far Coach Brown has gotten this team to where they're at, the Kings. I mean, you've worked around that coach, and what are your feelings about this Kings team and how far they've gotten this season?
No, they were really good. I didn't know what to expect, going into the series. I done played in a lot of playoff series, and it's definitely been one of the toughest ones we had to play in. It was adjustments each game. Each game was a chess match from lineups to different defenses to different offensive things they were doing. It was tough, and that's what we expect from Mike Brown. He's been a great coach. He knows us really, very well, and it was a lot of fun to be able to really see where we were as a team, and they really tested us, and I think we're going to grow from this.
I know it's early, but how do you feel like you guys are just like physically right now, knowing that you're going into a series where you're playing off day game, and any thoughts on the matchup?
I think I feel fine. I think everybody in the locker room probably a little tired today, but I think about Tuesday we should be good. And it's not our first run, so the guys know how to take care of the body. They know what to do to prepare themselves for the game. We really haven't talked about the next matchup. We know we've got the Lakers. We know that they're going to they present a problem. They got a lot of size, and AD's been playing great. Bron, D'Lo had a great game, 6. So a lot of talent over there. But we really haven't thought about it. We're gonna get in tomorrow and probably watch a lot of film and really figure out our game plan. But I'm excited.
First of all, I'd like to give my thanks to our fans. Our fans they're the best in the NBA, and they definitely showed up today. And obviously we wish we were still playing, but this is part of the sport. We'll be better from this experience going forward. Our guys are definitely hurting right now, which obviously they should be. But I got a lot of gratitude for every man in that locker room, not just the players, but the medical performance staff, the coaching staff, and everybody else in the front office. The organization was terrific this year. And, again, you wish you could have gotten more, especially for the city and for the fans. But nobody in our organization should be dropping their heads right now. The reality of it is they showed their experience. They absolutely kicked our behind on the glass. I mean, Kevon Looney was unbelievable. I mean, he was unbelievable. To have 10 offensive rebounds, you got to give him credit. Even Wiggs with 4 offensive rebounds. They had 13 offense, and we talked about it too. We said, hey, the third quarter is their quarter. We got to make sure that we buckle down and we go get it. And they had 13 offensive rebounds in that third quarter alone. And it's going to be hard to win, obviously, if you give up 18 offensive rebounds for 24 second chance points. And then on top of that, we were 16 for 27 from the free throw line. We didn't knock down free throws when we had an opportunity. So when you lose the battle the way we did in those two areas, it's going to be tough, especially when you have a guy like Steph Curry on your opponent's team. Steph was elite. He did what he was supposed to do. He put these guys on his back, and he said, we're not losing tonight, and I'm going to make sure that happens. So you give Steph a ton of credit for doing exactly what he was supposed to do. Heck of a performance by him.
Coach Brendan Nunez, Kings Herald. You've been around Steph a lot. Where does this fall into the performances that you've seen from him? And then from your guys' perspective, what do you feel like you could have done better to slow him down?
We blitzed him, and when we blitzed him, he got off of it, and they hit the pocket and hurt us in the pocket. I guess we could have double teamed him more and allowed him to somebody else to, get dunks or whatever like they did early on. But a guy like that, you hope that he misses some shots. I still think we could have withstood his barrage if we would have made free throws and boxed out. You know he's an elite player. A guy like that is going to try to win the game for him. But you can't have Loon get 10 offensive rebounds and then us miss 11 free throws. If you look at everybody else, again, you can usually withstand one guy having a big game. If you look at everybody else, Klay was 4 for 19, Wiggs was 5 for 16. Jordan Poole was 3 for 9. They shot 43% from the field. They shot 32% from the three-point line. We just got our behinds kicked on the glass and then missed free throws.
Like James Ham, ESPN 1320. This might not be the experience you guys wanted, but it's probably the experience you needed. Just how excited are you to take a little bit of break here, but then get right back to the grind with this team and try to build something long term?
No, I'm excited about this team. I got a lot of gratitude for everybody in that locker room. I think we obviously have a chance to really, really be good in the future. This obviously stings. It's going to sting for a while. It should. It's supposed to sting. And hopefully we'll be able to use this and remember what this feels like so that when we get going this summer, we can crank it up a notch so we don't feel this sting again next year.
Coach Brown, Tony Harvey, NBC Sports Radio. Of course, there was a lot of talk coming in, about the Warriors' record in a regular season, and then, that maybe they don't have the legs. But it appears that Steve Kerr, now that he has a healthy squad, he know how to prepare for these type of games. Can you comment on him and his preparation and him going forward, into the next series with the Lakers?
He's a Hall of Fame coach. He's got 4 or 5 titles as a head coach, maybe 6, I don't even know, and he's got $1 million as a player, and so he's the best of the best, and he did a heck of a job throughout this entire series. I wish them nothing but the best. Obviously, if we can't win it, we hope that I hope that they win it because of my bond with Steve and some of those guys. So he's a hell of a coach.
Mike, that first half, you guys, you were playing with great pace, winning the rebounding battle and the possession game, stuff like that. And I'm wondering, second half, the offensive rebounding for them, did you guys kind of let them off the hook a little bit? Did that prevent you from continuing to dictate pace as much as you wanted?
100%. When they offensive rebound the way they did, they had 13 in that third quarter. Not only does it stop us from getting out running, but it also takes the air out of you. It takes the air out of you, and it gives them confidence. And so every offensive rebound that they got, their confidence just kept rising. And it started to, in my opinion, creep doubt in what we were trying to do because we couldn't control the boards.
Mike, you've talked a lot about things that you can live with, especially like missing good shots and stuff like that over the course of the series. I'm curious if losing because of the offensive rebounds or that having a big part, is that something that's going to be on your mind a lot over the summer, or can you just put water under the bridge?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, again, we can't give up 18 offensive rebounds. To me, that's something that we can control. Also, shooting 59% from the free throw line in a game like this, in my opinion, as good as shooters as we have, that's something we can control. So those two things, at the end of the day, it's gonna hurt, and that's what I'm gonna look back more than anything else, wishing and hoping we did a better job in. Because, like I said, if we would have, it's my personal opinion, even with Steph having the game he had, I thought we would have been great.
Coach Mark Haynes with the Sac Observer. Being that you spent so much time with Steve Kerr and the Warriors, did you kind of throughout the season use a lot of, memories and moments you have with them to kind of give examples to your current team?
Yeah, not just those guys. I've been with some great coaches from Bernie Bickerstaff to Tim Gergovich, Rick Carlisle, Greg Popovich, and So I've been around a lot of great coaches and been in a lot of great situations, and so you always try to lean on your experiences that you've been through with other guys and in other situations to help your team grow, especially when we haven't been in it together as a unit. So it took a lot from Steve because I was with him these past 6 years, but there are other guys too that I leaned on in my experiences that I leaned on to share with the team.
Mike, you may have already answered this in terms of, the thing that might haunt you most from Game 7. Is that the biggest takeaway of the series as you take into the offseason that's going to just stick with you the most?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the games that they won big, Loon was a monster. It was a Game 3. Loon had 21. Tonight he has 21 rebounds. And, again, those are definitely controllable, in my opinion. He's a fantastic rebounder, but we need to do a better job with him. And then, like I said, tonight in particular, the free throws, to shoot 59% from the free throw line, that's bothersome, or that hurts, however you want to call it, because I know we're a better free throw shooting team than what we displayed tonight.
I know you had expectations on what Fox could be on a playoff stage, but, through his first playoff series, just what did you see from him and as you look forward with him?
Fox was great. He struggled tonight, obviously, but he was fantastic. He never, he always seemed in the moment. You can, when you have a guy that has a chance to be special, you can feel it, and I felt it from him throughout the whole playoff series. And, I'm excited to be working with him going forward because he's going to do a lot for this city, for this organization in terms of helping us try to fight for that championship we're so desperately trying to get.
Coach, you talked about fans a little bit, but how cool was that to see, even when the game seemingly was already decided and the benches were cleared, fans stayed and they gave the team a standing ovation through the final buzzer?
I'm telling you, man, these are best fans in the NBA. They are absolutely freaking phenomenal. And I wouldn't want to be around any other fans with the way these guys are. We owe them so much gratitude and appreciation that words can't even describe it. And, a lot of times you always say, hey, we're going to do this, for ourselves. It's us in the locker room. But, man, when you have fans like this, you want to include them in what you're playing for. You want to do something special for them because they absolutely deserve it with their passion and their energy that they bring, not just to the games, but when walking around town, pre-game, post-game. I'm touched by our fans. They're freaking phenomenal. Thank you, guys.
When you think about tonight, second half, what comes to mind in some of the struggles that you guys were?
They came out of the half and they responded like champions. They got to every loose ball. They got every 50-50 ball. They got a lot of offensive rebounds. They did everything that you need to do to win a game in the third quarter. And I feel like that's really where we lost it.
All right, next question.
Tony Harvey, NBC Sports Radio. De'Aaron, could you speak on Steph and what he was doing? And can you just speak on that?
Yeah, he's one of the greatest players ever. He makes tough shots. He gets in the lane. He's able to finish. He did everything for them tonight, and once he got it going, it was just tough for us to slow him down. Obviously, you want to try to send two at him, just disrupt him as much as possible. But like I said, when he gets it going, there's pretty much nothing you can do. And like I said, just the way that they came out in the second half as a team, if Steph has it going, and then they're also getting every loose ball, they're also getting offensive rebounds when he does miss. Then we're not putting ourselves in a position to win a game.
Hi, De'Aaron. I know it's a little early. Like, you haven't had much time to reflect on what the season has been. But can you talk about just kind of what the strides you guys have made, what that means to you personally and the team as a whole?
Yeah, this is definitely a building block. obviously being able to play a team like this who, we all have tremendous respect for, who've been there, done that. This is definitely just something that you build on. We had a good season. We were the 3rd seed. Stayed relatively healthy. I think playing against this team in the first round was a blessing and a curse. You could learn a lot. You're not the favorite to win. We fought every game, but they did what champions do. And for us, I feel like a lot of the guys, whoever's back next year, obviously we still relatively have a younger team. I feel like we learned a lot this series, and like I said, that's why this was a blessing and a curse to play against this team in the first round. But no, we like I said, we learned a lot, and you just try to build off of that. Obviously, this is a lot of our first times in a postseason. You got a taste of it. You got to feel what it was like to play against a team who's a championship contender just about year in and year out. And you take that and you build off of it.
Yeah, Mark Haynes, Sac Observer. Congratulations, first off. But now that you got your first series out the way and, like you said, playing against Steph and those guys, was it everything you imagined? And also, what did you and Steph talk about when y'all embraced each other?
Yeah, I would say it was everything I imagined. We just played them 11 times this season. So 4 times in the regular season and 7 times in the postseason. You pretty much saw everything that you could possibly see in adjustments. Obviously, what each other's going to do. And then it's just a battle of wills. And I think their will was greater than ours tonight. Steph had 50. Loon had, 25 rebounds. I think as a team they had 18 offensive rebounds. Like, it was a battle of wills at this point. You know what each other are going to do. So who's going to go out there, play harder, who's going to get to the loose balls, and they did that tonight. He just let me know that people know who I am now, obviously. Being able to play on this stage and perform. Obviously, I don't think I played well tonight. I know that there's another level that I have to get to as a professional, and then our team has to get to as well. But I'm grateful for this experience, and the playoffs is everything that I expected it to be.
Darren, in your first playoff series, you've shown the world what you've been doing in Sacramento for years. As the world has learned things about you this season and in this series, is there anything that you've learned about yourself?
I don't know if I would say if there's anything I've learned about myself, but just being resilient, just coming in and knowing that I could play on the big stage. Obviously, it's been years since I've been on that stage, but no, I don't think I really learned anything about myself. But I feel like I learned lessons about basketball and just what it takes to win at a high level, especially when you see a team over and over again. This is the first time that I've ever had to do that. You might see a team 4 times in a year, but it's spaced across. This year we played the Warriors, I think, 3 times, like the first 2 weeks, but usually it's spaced across a course of a few months. Now we played a team 7 times in 2 weeks. That was definitely a learning lesson, and I'm happy that I got to experience that.
De'Aaron, James Ham, ESPN 1320. We got to see fourth quarter Fox this season. We got to see playoff Fox. Do you see where you can improve and take it to the next step and become that superstar level player?
Yeah, definitely. Just having a feel for the game in different scenarios, and obviously we talked about it before, where I'm like, I can have a bad couple quarters and then just turn it around. In the postseason, you got to be on your P's and Q's at all times, and obviously 82 games is a long season, but you try to go out every game. You're trying to fill the game out. Obviously, you want to affect the game in many different ways. But the postseason is definitely different. I do think these 7 games were a lot different than the previous 4 that we played in this season and every other game that we played this season. So just learning that and actually getting a taste of that, I think, was the best thing about it.
Hey, De'Aaron, just going 7 games with the Warriors and getting this close to advancing, in terms of what you learned, did you learn maybe some things, just how close it is to like that thin line between advancing and not advancing that you can take with you going forward?
Yeah, definitely. Mike preached us the little things all season long. And I would say that's why we lost. Steph had a big game, but we were limiting other players. But the turnovers and then the 20 offensive rebounds, those things start to pile up. And we can look at this game. Game 3, they did the same thing. Game 5, they did the same thing. So the way that we were losing was because of the little things that started to pile up on each other. And, I mean, we had problems in the regular season like that, but it was extremely amplified in the playoffs.
When you look at just going into the offseason, I know after a bad game, you guys try to flush it and move on. As you now head into the offseason, though, do you want this sting to kind of linger with you as you guys move forward and maybe use that as motivation at all?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we talked about it in the locker room. Like, you want this thing to last for a little while. Like I said, you use this as a building block. You know, I'm 25, Domantas 26, Kev's 24, Davion's 24, Malik's 25, like Keegan's 22. We have guys who are not even close to their prime. We have guys who are in their first and second years. We have guys who aren't even on their second contracts yet that are playing big minutes. Like, we as a team have a ways to go, and you'd rather, we lost in 7 games to defending champs. You'd rather have it that way than not make the playoffs. So, like I said, this is something that you want to be able to build off of, and we talked about it before. Some teams have had this, and then you fall off, or some teams have had this, and they kept going up. So you continue to go into the offseason, you work on what you need to work on, you come back together, and you try to be better.
Brendan Nunes, Kings Herald. I'm sure in your previous years you heard a lot of things about what the postseason is like or isn't like, and now that you've been through it, do you kind of get to play Mythbusters on what is or isn't true, or is there anything that you realized was true but never heard about?
I do think the game was a lot more physical than it is in the regular season. You get away with some things defensively that you wouldn't get away with in the regular season. Some people are playoff risers. Some people don't perform in the playoffs. You want to be on the better end of the two, but I think the physicality definitely was something that was amplified in the playoffs, and you embrace that. I feel like us as a team, we were much better defensively in the playoffs than we were in the regular season. Maybe that's because we were fouling a little bit more and they weren't calling it or whatever it is. But it was the physicality is the number one thing I think that's different from the playoffs and the regular season.
Tony Harvey, NBC Sports Radio. De'Aaron, you went through this battle with Domantas Sabonis. You know, he came in here last year, and he talk about physicality. He sure experienced that in this series. But what was it like, going through this battle with him and knowing that you guys are looking forward to having many more wars coming ahead?
Yeah, I mean, it was great for this to be our first. Obviously, my first in the playoffs ever. But his first with me and just this group of guys. Like I said, this is a learning experience for us. Being at the age that we are, you have a lot, hopefully you have a lot of basketball left to be played. You're entering your prime. You want to have the best years of your basketball career coming up. So losing to this team is, like I said, it's just, you just learn from it. You learn, you take everything that they did to us, that they taught us, and you try to be better at those things and just continue to work at it. I mean, obviously, you want to get back to the playoffs and you want to advance, but it doesn't work that way. You got to go through a regular season, obviously putting your body through it, and getting to the playoffs. Want to be as healthy as you can possibly be, and just being ready to play.
Hey, De'Aaron, Matt, George Ebsen, excuse me. You kind of touched on this already a little bit, but the expectations for next year to build upon this year. I'm not talking about win totals or anything like that, but what are your expectations for yourself and this group and what you guys will do and the work that you'll put in for this offseason?
I haven't thought about next year yet, but just be better at what we know we need to work on. Obviously, the offense was the offense, and we need to be better in the postseason. We didn't shoot the ball as well as we would have wanted to. But like I said, that with that experience and coming into the playoffs and the physicality is going up, maybe that's why we didn't shoot well. Obviously, we had open looks that we just didn't make, but that could be fatigue because, you haven't played postseason games. So just being able to get used to that, and now your body knows what it feels like to go through 82 games. For the physicality to ramp up, playing 7 games, and now you have to make a shot. Like it's very different than making a shot in game 50 or game 70 or game 20. It's not the same shot. Every shot that you take in the playoffs is being watched. Every miss is amplified. So I just think, like I said, just being able to go through this experience, I think just teaches everybody what it's like for every shot to be a big shot.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Draymond, over here. What sort of sparked your defense in the second half? They only scored 42 points. I don't think they scored at all the first 3 or 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. And how much of that started with Kevon?
Everything started with Kevon. I think all series we've done a good job of defending in the half court. So number one, what sparked our defense is taking care of the ball, not turning the ball over, allowing them to get out in transition, and they had to play against our half court defense. For the most part, all series, our half court defense has been good, but we've given them transition opportunities and then also second chance points. So where it started with Loon, that was dominating the glass. Once we dominated the glass, then it allowed us to show how good our defense had been. And, once we did that, it allowed us to set our offense, get good offensive possessions, and we connected the game together. But Kevon Looney was huge. Andrew Wiggins, incredible defense. Everybody started boxing out. It was great. GP came off the bench. He was really into Malik Monk. And, we stuck with our game plan, and it ended up working for us.
Draymond, some people doubt if championship DNA is a real thing. Did we just see an example of it?
I think it's a real thing. Some people you just cut a little differently. You made a little differently, and then you talk about that DNA, that experience. We leaned into that today, but you got to give those guys a lot of credit. Starting with the head of the snake, Mike Brown, to come to an organization that hasn't seen the playoffs in 16 years and put the team together or bring the team together the way he did is absolutely incredible. So you give Mike Brown credit. De'Aaron Fox being the head of the snake from a player perspective, led his guys, tough player. One of the futures of this league. And, this won't be the last we see of Fox. This won't be the last we see of the Kings. They're headed in the right direction, and you got to give them a lot of credit. So it was I'm honored to have played in that series, to play in this hostile environment. The fans were incredible. As I continue to progress in my career, you appreciate these moments. You appreciate fan bases like this, loud before the game, loud when the game starts, loud after the game. You have a strong appreciation for environments like this. So I'm very thankful to have played in this series. It was a fun one for us.
Draymond, Steph is the first player to ever drop 50 in a Game 7. Can you sense when he's going to have a big game and lock in and really kind of will you guys in a way that he did tonight?
Yeah, I knew he'd be locked in. When you have an opportunity like tonight, Game 7, we haven't had this opportunity many times. I think this was our 5th one. We played over 30 series, and this is our 5th Game 7, so they're rare. When you have rare situations, rare players do rare things, and Steph Curry was that tonight. He was absolutely amazing. He controlled the tempo of the game, controlled the pace. No turnovers. I think he had 1 turnover the entire game. He had the ball the whole game. You can tell when he's locked in and he's laser focused. There's not many defenses in the world that can stop him.
Hey, Draymond. You and Darren had a nice smack talk going throughout this entire series. And after the game, you guys had a nice moment together. If you don't mind sharing what you said to him in that moment.
Just pay my respect. I've been in a lot of playoff series against a lot of different guys. And if I'm honest, you leave most with less respect for a lot of guys. Whether it's, how they act in the moment, how they step up to the pressure. I've lost a lot of respect for guys over the years in the playoffs. And then there are some that you gain respect for. There are some that you see and you know they're cut from that same cloth you feel like you're cut from. And Fox is one of those guys. And so I just paid my respect, man. Hard fought battle. Obviously, he's on the wrong end of it. We've been there before. Like, I've been to a Game 7 and lost in the first round. That was my second year in the league. We did that against the Clippers. And it's a part of it. You have to go through that to ultimately reach where you want to go. And so I was really just showing my love and respect for him as a competitor. I was honored to compete against him today, or this series.
Draymond, you kind of alluded to my question when you were answering Maddie's. You guys have played in, this is your 5th Game 7. All of them are pretty famous now. The Clippers won, to Cleveland, beating OKC, and then against the Rockets. Where does this fall just in levels of, like, gratification, watching what Steph did? Klay said that this is the Steph Curry game of Game 7.
Yeah. When you're in the moment of something, that's always going to feel bigger, I think. And so being in this moment right now, like, this feels like the biggest one. Quite frankly, the performance Steph put on, you look at all the things that we've gone through this year as a team. To win Game 5 here and then go home and lay an egg, to then come back here on the road and have to do it all over again and do it even better than you did it in Game 5, which was very impressive. I think that speaks, that speaks volumes. Now, you talk about the last dance, the this, the that, and that takes things up another couple notches, So this one definitely feels special, to watch Steph have the game that he had, total domination. Those are the moments that, I'm a basketball fan. As a fan, you can appreciate. As a teammate, that's the guy you want to go to war with, those guys, not just Steph, the guys that that's the guys you want to go to war with, but the way he performed, man, like, he left no doubt. And I think that's a beautiful thing. We always talk about Game 7 and, how big that is in sports. And to see a GOAT leave no doubt, it's absolutely incredible.
Very quick turnaround for Tuesday night. Just early thoughts on the series against the Lakers.
Totally different team, than they've been the last couple years. Since they've made those trades at the deadline, they've been an incredible team. I think they finished this regular season 20-9. LeBron is playing more off the ball than he ever has in his career, which is, I applaud. It's hard for a guy like that to make that transition, and he's seamlessly done it. And it's helped their team. Not that LeBron on the ball is a problem, but it's just allowed other guys to do more. So they're playing with confidence. Austin Reeves is playing with a ton of confidence. He's playing great basketball. Rui Hachimura is playing with a ton of confidence. AD is obviously AD. LeBron's LeBron. D'Lo has got it going those last couple games over the course of their last series. They have a bench, so it'll be a tough series. But that's what you expect as you move forward in the playoffs. But we're going up against a very good team. Looking forward to getting our game plan tomorrow, whatever that's going to be, and then, starting to put it to work on Tuesday. But it's a quick turnaround, so maximizing your recovery is important for us.
Draymond, of course, you guys, you got the first 2 games at home, though. But we talked to Steve earlier about, the regular season record, which he said, it shouldn't even be talked about. And you have won your last 2 road wins in the playoffs, both here in this building. Just wanted to get your commentary on, how you guys are playing and want to continue playing on the road.
Yeah. What was our regular season record overall? Anybody? Yeah. What about our overall record? Yeah, who cares? Regular season is regular season. It is what it is. We had our struggles. We don't make much of it. We didn't come into this series like, man, we haven't won on the road. We came into this series like we need to win one on the road, whatever that is. If that's game 1, 2, 5, or 7, we need to do it. We did it. Put ourselves in a position to only have to do it once and then let it slip at home and had to come do it again. But at no point was our mindset like, man, you think we can win on the road? Like, we know what we're made of. We know what it takes to win in these type of environments, in these situations, and we lean on that.
Draymond, you mentioned the last dance without getting into any of that stuff in terms of the future. There is a sense that it seems like the rest of the league's kind of trying to turn the page on all of you guys, right? The Warriors, LeBron. Like every time I'm down there, we ask him, how are you still doing this at 38? Like, and now it's you two guys again. How are you guys still in this position, and especially against him?
Well, I think number one, you're talking about some of the ultimate competitors. LeBron is one of the ultimate competitors. Steph, Klay, myself, Loon, ultimate competitors. And so to have these opportunities, we don't take for granted. I think, who you are as a professional show during these times. Here we are 8 years later from the first time we met in a playoff series and still playing at that level. That's special. It says a lot. It says a lot about who you are as a pro and how serious you take this, how you appreciate this game. And I know I speak for all the guys I just mentioned when I say the appreciation for the game and for the stage, for the lights. Like I was talking on my podcast the other day after Game 5, I think it was, just like that feeling that you get playing in these type of environments like that, it can't be replicated. It's like it's goosebumps, man. Like you this is what you prepare for these moments. And this series against the Lakers is going to be epic. You got Steph, you got Bron doing it all over again. We've never played against the Lakers in a playoff series. We get to experience that. It's a ton of little things going on, but what I will say is stop trying to turn the page on us so fast. Stop trying to turn the page on Bron so fast. We get so caught up in what's the next thing that we don't appreciate the current. And then you get to the next thing and looking back like, man, I wish we still had that. I wish we could still see this. So for me and our guys, we're going to appreciate this every step of the way and continue to appreciate it, but also put ourselves in the best position we can to be successful. And you go from there and you live with those results, knowing that the work has already been put in. Yes, you have to continue to prepare day in and day out, but the work has been put in, and that's why we're here. You continue to rely on that and lean on it.
Draymond, what do you make of Steph when he starts sort of interacting with the crowd and saying things to the crowd and motioning to the crowd? And you mentioned the atmosphere here. What's it take for a star player to have that type of performance and that type of atmosphere?
Just laser focused. He knew everything that he wanted to get to versus their defense, and he got to it. He actually missed a couple of shots that he probably would love to get back and still had the night that he had. But it takes a special person to show up in an environment like that and do what Steph did. That's why you get paid the big bucks. That's why you are who you are. That's why he's top 75 greatest players and 2-time MVP. That's why. Because no matter what the environment is, you show up in a major way and you carry whatever it is that you have to carry. We're all lucky that we're living during a time where we get to experience and appreciate some of the greatest sports ever played, some of the greatest matchups the world has ever seen. I have a strong appreciation for it as a competitor. I have a strong appreciation for it as a fan.
Draymond, you guys faced a lot of adversity this series. You got suspended. What did you learn about yourself and your teammates?
I learned nothing about me. I'm pretty in tune with myself. And every team is different, every team, yes, some of the pieces are the same, but every team is different. And I think in that Game 3, we really learned how to stick together, how to band together around something, one thing, and push forward. And I thought that was huge for this group. Like you said, it's a group who's faced a lot of adversity. But you only face a real adversity when you are expected to do great things. There were a ton of teams this year with more adversity than us, but no one expects them to do anything, so then you just don't talk about it. We enjoy that pressure. We enjoy those lights. You appreciate it. I told the guys before the game tonight, like, we've put ourselves in a position to play in one of the highest pressure situations that you can be in. Embrace it, and that's how we try to attack every day.
Draymond, it's rare that you face a team that wants to play as fast, if not faster than you. It looked like a couple times tonight.
Monk said we was old.
Looked like a couple times tonight you had the opportunity to run, and you maybe slowed down a little bit. It looked like sometimes when you closed out, you took a couple take fouls, kind of slow the game down. Was that part of the game plan to slow down a little bit?
I don't know. I didn't necessarily take a take foul to close out and slow them down. You take the foul so they don't get in the paint and then kick out to the other side. Now you get Herter shooting it. You get Murray shooting it. You get all of those guys shooting it. And so I think, being a little more strategic about how they're getting into our paint and what that causes. And then as far as slowing it down on an offensive end, when you see something that works, you be a fool not to stick with it. And, when Steph gets the ball and he slow it down, he's trying to get to something. And every time we did it, we got to what we wanted to get to. And so we ran when the opportunity was there. But, if it's not there, let's slow it down and get a great look, the looks that we know we can get to, and that was good for us.
I'm going to it.
Steph, congratulations on the win tonight and on 50 points. Historic. You keep making history in these games. What went through your head at the start of this game, knowing that you were going to have a loud crowd to do the game that you did tonight?
This has been it was a really fun series. It was tough from game 1 to game 7, and it was, kind of a vibe of different adjustments from game to game. And based on how game 6 went, we knew that they were probably going to stick to the same kind of formula, playing mostly small, different rotations. And that allowed us to kind of go back to the drawing board on how we wanted to attack their defense and keep the game as simple as possible and to the pace that we like it. And that was a lot of pick and roll, a lot of just organized offense that gave us a good start. We got some good looks to open up the game, and that allowed us to connect our offense and defense together. We say that a lot, and that's a big part of who we are and how we were successful. So for me, it was just about being aggressive in that scheme and being as consistent as possible. And obviously, I got up 38 shots for a reason because, we started to see where the holes were, and I could be ultra aggressive to get looks, and it worked.
Steph, in the first half, you missed the 2 free throws back to back, and the next couple times you went to the free throw line, the cameras were on you. It looked like you were smiling, almost, beaming, I guess you could say. But what was that about? Why?
Attitude can manifest a lot of things, and I told Q on the sidelines I've missed 4 or 5 free throws the last 2 games. Not like me, but never overthink it. Just enjoy the moment. So the smile was intentional and trying to just be in the present, and as simple as it is, just trying to make a free throw. So I like to have fun with it.
Steph, Draymond just referred to Malik Monk, saying you guys were old, and might have been referenced in other places. How much motivation do you get out of that? How much is this team that's been together for so long has won so much just trying to kind of fight back people saying it's over for you guys?
I think the competitive spirit's always in us, and we didn't need any sound bites to motivate us, but it did help to know, they thought they had something in the sense of the pace that, they tried to get the game to in game 6, and, that was a talking point for them. But at the end of the day, we knew who we are, and, these last 36 hours to regroup and try to figure out, what our adjustments are going to be and how we wanted to come out. we had a great talk yesterday and great film session, and you know, there's still nerves and anxiousness and anticipating a big night, but when we get out there, our experience took over and felt pretty comfortable from the jump. So it was a great experience.
Steph, it looked like late in the game in particular, you had some things to say to the crowd, and you even motioned looked like you were lighting the beam. Just what goes through your head in moments like that?
I mean, it's just the playoffs. Like, there's so much built into a series, especially when you go 7 games and, the fans get into it, and especially, Bay Area, NorCal kind of situation, their first time in the playoffs in a long time. So you just get, all that stuff kind of comes out when you get the job done. Sometimes you're on the wrong end of it. Sometimes, we had a lot of experience of winning series, so you just let all that out. It's this is hard. Like, this is winning at this level. There's a lot of narratives and commentary throughout game to game, and you're trying to block it all out and just focus on basketball. But at the end of it, there's fun with it too.
Steph right here. So obviously you just carried the team. You got 50 points, and the Draymond just called you dominate again. So who can stop Steph Curry?
Hopefully, we'll never find out.
How does the NBA champion DNA make this team special and to handle Game 7?
You can always go into the memory bank of how you feel in these type of environments. Because like I said, there's still nerves and butterflies because it matters, and we love this atmosphere, and we've been doing it for a very long time. So once the ball drops, like, it's just playing basketball at the end of the day. And I think I said that after Game 6, like, you focus on the details of how you're trying to execute. You trust each other, everybody that's out there on the floor. We had great energy off our bench. Everybody who played came in with the right intentions. There's a lot of conversation and communication and togetherness on the bench, which is huge for us. And everything was connected. So when that happens and then you're on the court and you have clarity about what you're trying to do, good things usually happen. And it was a great time to kind of put it all together on the road in Game 7.
Any early thoughts on Lakers series and just how schematically different you expect that to be?
They're totally different than the Kings. Present a lot of different challenges. We know Bron really well. Played him a couple times, I think, since the trade, and they look extremely different. So I know they're playing good basketball, and it's weird, a 6-7 seed series. We get home court advantage, so we got to take advantage of that. But they're big, and we got to be able to have everybody, locked in on our preparation over the next 48 hours. And even if guys didn't get much run in this series, that's the nature of the playoffs. Move on to a different team, a different style. Everybody's got to be ready to make those adjustments on the fly.
Stephen, for someone over here to your right, for someone who appreciates the history of the game, you're going to take on LeBron, the Lakers, for the first time in this run. How much do you relish the moments of taking on LeBron again and taking on the Lakers in this next round of the playoffs?
It's amazing because you're still in the fight. It's better than the alternative of on the outside looking in, and having been down 0-2 in this series, like, nothing's guaranteed. You don't take anything for granted, and it is special to know. From the first series we played him in Cleveland, 14-15 season to now. We're blessed to be playing at this level still, and excited about a new chapter. Two teams trying to keep your season alive and chase a championship, and that's what it's all about.
Hey, Steph, when you see your team playing the shutdown defense that it did in that second half, how much more does your confidence grow in being able to seize the opportunity and take over a game like you did today?
I mean, that's how you win. At this level is the offense is flashy, and especially the way that we play, you kind of have that high octane offense. But for us, our calling card has usually been our defense, and you can start to feel the momentum stay on your side, even if shots aren't falling, because you can put 2-3 stops together in a row and kind of take the momentum away from a team that kind of thrives, especially when you're not turning the ball over. Like, that's a huge part for us. And we, in this series, we lost most games when we lost the possession battle. So, our offense was great, creating good shots, which didn't allow us to set up our defense, and we were able to keep the crowd out of it for a good portion of the game, which is huge on the road. So, probably our best performance of the series, and it was, great timing.
Steph, obviously there's no rival between the Kings and the Warriors, but Sacramento in the Bay Area has a little rival. Is that something that when you playing, you keep in the back of your head, like, as you playing?
Not so much that. It's just, within the playoff series, you hear from both fan bases for all type of different reasons, whether it's the geography, whether it's the podium game where people talking trash or whatever it is, regular season kind of history. With every series is different. So, it's 2 series in a row we're playing California teams. It's kind of dope to know there is a little bit of history and connectivity within the different regions, but it doesn't really manifest itself in the way that we approach the game or anything like that.
Hi, Steph. I feel like we ask you about Looney every night, but he corrals these balls, and you might miss, or somebody might miss, and you get 2 or 3 more chances because of him. I mean, he was a key part of this series, as we all saw. What does that mean to you to see the ball coming back at you after a miss and get another chance?
He makes his presence felt, and it's amazing. Another 20 rebound game. I think he's had 3 this series, and special the way that, again, he just, like you said, gives us extra possessions. We're not the biggest team, and so he plays a lot larger than his size, and it's just awesome to know that over the last 2 years he's really created an identity of how he approaches games and how he helps us, and it's so valuable, to your point, because we take a lot of wild shots, and our skill set's on display a lot. But when he's doing what he did all series for us, it makes us that much better. And last year, when we won the championship, like, he was invaluable to that run, and hopefully, this performance continues.
Steph, yeah. We always talk about the wars and the battles that you, Klay, Draymond, Andre, have been going through in the last 10 years. But the admiral of that ship is Steve Kerr. Could you elaborate, provide some commentary, on working with him these last 10 years? Because he definitely had you guys prepared for Game 7.
I mean, there's a lot of trust in our staff, and, obviously Coach is a leader to, put us in positions to be successful. It's not an easy job, especially when we have so much talent that we have, to try to find the right combinations and the right rotations and all that. But he has a lot of trust in us, what we see, what we feel, and our input, and vice versa. So you don't have the success that we've had over the last 9 years without that trust and collaboration. But him being a player and having played for the legends that he played for and the teammates that he played with and the championship experiences that he's had, he brings all that wisdom to not just the X's and O's, but keeping everybody on the same page on what we're trying to accomplish and how we need to go about our business. And he's done that from day one, so still doing it.
Steph, we've seen you do night and night, and now you're lighting the beam, and you've talked to fans a lot. How did you step up your trash talk game over the years, and where do you see it at right now?
I do it differently, I guess, just like trying to have fun, whether it's the crowd or weird mannerisms and all that. Sometimes it's choreographed, sometimes it's not, but I never take it too serious. But yeah, more that you're in this fight, the more you kind of embrace that part of it, I guess, just because, you're defying the odds by, still playing at this high of a level. And I know everybody wants to see you fail. That's kind of the nature of, where we're at right now. So, we love when we still can prove a lot of people wrong. It's part of our vibe now.